About 2.5 billion cubic meters of raw oil are shipped across the world's oceans on average every year. Now that's half of all the oil that we consume annually. Our oceans are the highways on which this oil is transported from the major producers in Russia, Iran, Saudi Arabia and the United States to the big consumers in Asia and the West. Now, raw oil is usually transported on VLCC, very large crude carrier vessels, with the capacity to transport about 2 million barrels of raw oil. These quantities would be enough to fill over half of Stockholm's massive globe arena. And on that basis, we could say that a volume equivalent to up to 4,000 globe arenas filled to the brim with raw oil is transported across the 7 seas every year. Refined petroleum products such as petrol, diesel and aircraft fuel are transported on somewhat smaller vessels that can carry up to around 70,000 cubic meters. And it's these product segments that form the main focus of Concordia Maritime's operations, namely the transport of refined petroleum products.
Hans Norén is CEO at Concordia Maritime. Now, your vessels ply the 7 seas every day, transporting these huge quantities of a commodity that's crucial for the world economy and for most people in general, and one that also has to be handled with particular care to avoid damaging the environment. As head of this operation, you're shouldering quite a responsibility, aren't you?
To be a carrier of oil and petroleum products comes with a high level of responsibility. Concordia Maritime has, since the 90s, established itself as a shipping company that puts safety, security and top-class performance as priority number one. During that period we have developed the philosophy that oil should always travel first class, and that's a commitment we strongly believe in and base our work approach on. We strive to implement our transports as safely and close to perfection as possible. Our P-MAX vessels, for example, encompass a unique design in which we have combined, in our view, the best of 2 worlds: transportation economy and the highest possible safety. Many accidents occur due to human error, and that's why it's so crucial to have highly qualified and experienced officers and seamen. And ours do indeed fall under that category. A lot of time and effort is spent on safety and security work on board our vessels, and we are extremely proud of the people on board our vessels.
P-MAX was developed as a direct result of Concordia Maritime's focus on transport economy. The aim was basically to give customers more value for their money while maintaining the same high levels of transport safety and environmental consideration. The solution came in the form of a vessel with a higher cargo capacity than those of Concordia Maritime's competitors. Add to that a high level of security and you get our motto: twice as much of everything. Technical manager Torbjörn Rapp is one of the people behind the P-MAX concept. As site manager during the construction process, there's little that he doesn't know about ships and their characteristics. What is different about the P-MAX concept?
The P-MAX tankers can carry 30% more cargo than equivalent vessels of the same length. This thanks to them being 10 meters broader than normal tankers. This is a vital factor in ports with draft limitations, where our ships offer an economic advantage compared to similar vessels. Apart from the transport economy, safety is the prime factor that has been built into the vessels. Each one has 2 separate engine rooms, separated by watertight bulkheads, 2 main engines, each one driving a separate propeller, and 2 independent maneuvering systems and rudders. All that makes these tankers extremely safe for navigation in narrow waters, and the design ensures that we can still make our way safely to port in the event of an engine failure.
What posed the biggest challenges during the construction of the vessels?
Design specifications for the P-MAX vessels were particularly stringent. They are both unique in their design as well as technically advanced. Much of the inbuilt security is technology-based. So the biggest challenge our team of inspectors faced was to ensure that the shipyard maintained the high standard set during the entire 7-year building period. Our ambitious and experienced inspectors, together with the personnel at the yard, managed to carry this through. The result speaks for itself. The 10 P-MAX vessels playing the oceans today have operated without any failures at all since they were launched.
As you heard, the P-MAX concept has significantly boosted Concordia Maritime's competitiveness. But what about the market the company operates within? Well, the market for the transport of goods by sea is in many ways like the sea itself. It goes in waves, which can lead to extreme up and down shifts in revenue. Just during the past 5 years, the open market has seen its spot prices swing dramatically from just over $30,000 a day down to practically $0 a day. Converted into Swedish currency, the maximum revenue per day has been 200,000 krona. That's the price customers pay per day to have their petroleum products transported by sea. Prices are more stable on the market for time charter, that is, where a vessel's chartered for extended periods. Levels there having remained at between $15,000 to $20,000 a day. Anna Forshamn is CFO at Concordia Maritime. How would you describe your strategy for profitability in this fluctuating petroleum products market?
Well, in order to create profitability and stability in Concordia Maritime, we utilize the tools that most of the other industries are using. That is to say, assessing the demand and supply, the market situation, as well as volatility. We are aiming to achieve a good yield without too much risk, and then we use the tools of the trade. That is gearing the mix of loan to value ratio in combination with spot and time charter contract. Concordia Maritime has a strong balance sheet, and we have a target of 12% return on equity. And in order to achieve this target, we consider the mix of time charter and spot. When we launched the new building program for the P-MAX vessels, we wanted to secure a stable cash flow. And for that reason, we ordered first vessels at the same time as we signed a time charter contract with the customer. And when the market then expanded, we took the opportunity to sign numbers of time charter contracts. And we realized that that was a very wise decision when the market became weak and there was a huge drop in the spot market rates. On one hand, we can't reach our return on equity of 12% if we just sign up for time charters. On the other side, we can notice that thanks to the time charter contracts, we were able to secure a stable earnings during the recent turbulent years within the shipping industry. In the present situation, we are aiming to increase the spot exposure, and vessels that were returned to us in 2011-2012 were therefore put on the open market due to the fact that we estimate that the spot market would increase, and today the current time charter levels are not that interesting. So, in summary, the mix between time charters and spot will change over time and will also reflect our expectations of the market.
So what does the future look like for Concordia Maritime? Here's CEO Hans Norin to sum it up for us.
The product tanker shipping business looks very interesting going forward. We had a supply problem after the financial crisis. There were simply too many ships ordered during the boom years. This changed drastically during 2009 and 2010 to a point where basically no shipbuilding orders at all were being placed in the product tanker segment. The dynamics and the problems among different operators in the oil and oil refinery business vary, and this of course opens up possibilities for us as carriers. For example, the older refineries in Europe and in the United States are closing down, and new state-of-the-art refineries are appearing in Asia and in the Middle East. And this development, of course, will have a big effect on transportation patterns. Generally, we see demand growing more than supply, and we will probably see a market that is in balance relatively soon. As a niche player on the world market, it is vital for us that we continue to be innovative. We need to continue to work with safety, and we need to continue to work with transportation economy. Concordia Maritime has identified the transportation of vegetable oils as an interesting new niche, and we see considerable potential in being able to combine this with the transportation of refined oil. So we converted 3 vessels during 2011 to be able to operate them on that basis. As and when our fixed contracts expire, we will gradually achieve a greater exposure to the open market. We are also in the fortunate position of being financially strong, and this of course enables us to act in this weak market, for example by investing in new projects. So I am confident that Concordia Maritime's future will be an exciting one.